Hello, good evening, and welcome. I'm John Lazarus with Stories Matter and D&D Publishing. Character arcs are one of the most difficult things for an author to master. This is largely because, in real life, most of us never change. We go through the motions, day in, day out, and then we die, and basically nobody notices. Unlike your life, however, your fiction should be interesting. We'll take a closer look at character arcs on this edition of Stories Matter. Today's video is brought to you by cigarettes. A low-tech alternative to vaping, the world tastes better with cigarettes. Whether you need to slim down 5 pounds for your husband, or give your skin that wrinkly, leathery, tough guy ruggedness, cigarettes are never a bad choice. If coffee gives you diarrhea and amphetamines make you advance on coworkers sexually, grab yourself a stick and head to flavor country to get that jolt you need. Plus, cigarettes might make you better at polo or some shit. Okay, now a character arc is the path your character takes through the story, and it includes the challenges they face, their adversity, change, and some sort of resolution. Best-selling author Dean Koontz recommends putting your character in deep trouble as quickly as possible. Though other best-selling novelists Bill O'Reilly, Steven Seagal, and Donald Trump recommend letting your character get away with their horrible behavior for way longer than any reasonable person might expect. There are 4 main types of character arcs: transformational arcs, positive change arcs, negative change arcs, and static arcs. Before we go into how to create a character arc, let's examine each kind. Transformational arcs are when your character starts the story as a regular person and becomes a hero by the end. In film, Taxi Driver's Travis Bickle and Nightcrawler's Lou Bloom would be excellent examples of this. In literature, Atlas Shrugged John Galt certainly fits the bill. These types of characters take on great responsibility to heroically change their societies for the benefit of all ruthless white men. Positive change arcs are similar to transformational arcs, but much less dramatic. Here, the character often changes their worldview from something negative into something positive. In A Christmas Carol, for example, Ebenezer Scrooge realizes charity will earn him the admiration and respect of tax collectors. In Patricia Highsmith's novels, Tom Ripley gets a completely new and improved identity. Negative change arcs are then the reverse, with a character descending into sin or ill fortune. These are the types of characters who lose money, or stop realizing how awesome war is, or who die. All Quiet on the Western Front's Paul Baumer, or really any European book fit this category. Finally, we have static arcs, where characters face adversity and challenges, but pretty much stay the same throughout the story. This kind of arc is common in action and thriller series. Private eyes, adventure heroes, and spies often follow this arc. Atticus Finch is another example of a static character, as he starts the story as a lawyer and ends the story still being a lawyer. Now, we'll look at some tips to help create captivating character arcs for our characters. Step 1. Give them personal flaws. Whether you want to create a positive or negative arc, it helps to have a vulnerable character. They can then either overcome or succumb to these weaknesses. You can watch this video here, or just stare into a mirror for more information on character flaws. Now, their struggle could be something relatable, like obesity, or the need to have sex 10 times a day. Or it could be something unique to your world, like an addiction to a computer simulation that graphically depicts the deaths of your coworkers. These weaknesses can define your character's circumstances at the beginning of the book. Perhaps their recklessness got a loved one killed. For example, of my 427 published books and the 398 male protagonists in them, over 80% of them had a dead wife. Step 2. Give your character a first goal. Kurt Vonnegut once famously said, "You should give every character something to want, even if it's just a glass of water." Now, while he was a well-known shill for Dasani, the point still stands. The character arc should be defined or at least initiated by a desire. Now, that could be escaping an unbearable situation, such as being a woman at basically any time in history, or living in Oklahoma at basically any time in history. Or it could be the promise of adventure in classics like The Odyssey, Harry Potter, or Lolita. Step 3. Find a point of no return. Think of your character arc like a roller coaster or Jeffrey Epstein's Private Island. There's no getting off until it's over. At a certain point in your story, your character should make a choice that will forever change them. It could be something dramatic, like pushing a best friend off a tall building, or something low-key, like pushing a gerbil off a tall building. In Lonesome Dove, this is when the cowboys set out for Montana on their cattle drive. In Anything Cormac McCarthy writes, it's basically the moment any character is born. Step 4. End with the realization of a truth. At the end of your story, your character should be center stage. They must grasp with what they've lost or celebrate what they've accomplished. In Moby Dick, for instance, Captain Ahab comes to realize the foolishness of his quest for vengeance and understands it would probably be easier just to shoot a bunch of deer or buffalo or something. In Richard Yates's Revolutionary Road, the Wheelers realize their marriage, and by extension all marriages, are just an elaborate form of suicide. It's not always negative, however. Henry Miller's Tropic of Cancer is a straightforward tale of a man who travels through the underbelly of Paris's red light districts, only to realize he doesn't have any STDs. Well, that's all for this week. Hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, and I'll leave you with this week's author quote of the week. See you on the next one.